Well, hello there. I'm Jacob,
And I'm Luke.
and we're the Obi Thorin Alliance. And in today's video, we're doing a top 5 of Ryan Reynolds movies since the Adam Project just came out. If you like this sort of videos, hit the notification bell, like and subscribe. So, our normal format, what I think works, is that we switch between our 5 so it keeps us both engaged. So, did you want to go first with your number 5?
Yep. So at number 5, which will probably be a bit surprising, I've gone with Deadpool number 2.
Okay.
So I do think the Deadpool movies are really funny and quirky, and they're good. I have other Ryan Reynolds movies I enjoy more. So I think they're really good, but unfortunately I think he's got better movies than that, and I think you're going to be surprised at the ones that I choose that are better than that. So I've gone with Deadpool number 2 at 5, which a lot of people disagree probably.
That's a shock to start off with the video. My number 5 is The Proposal with him and Sandra Bullock. And I think this is a good love story to kind of fake it, but I think it's a good storytelling to see how, even though it was meant to be a story of to help her to get into the business, they actually fall in love, and it's a good love story, and it didn't mean to be. It was just meant to be something else, and even us males can, like love story, and I think it helps that Ryan Reynolds is in the movie. He's very engaging. He has that charisma, and it's not the best movie because I think, we love our action, but I think it's definitely worth being in the top 5 because, Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, highly capable performance, and I think it's a good movie.
I actually haven't seen The Proposal. Okay. I've seen little clips from it, but I've never watched the whole movie, so that is something that I would like to watch. They are 2 actors and actresses that I quite like, so maybe I have to give that a look. At number 5, I've gone with... Number 4, sorry. I've gone with Deadpool 1.
Oh?
So I think this
I
think this is just a bit better than the second Deadpool, maybe more because of its originality, where the second one was kind of, the shock factor wasn't there anymore, and then I don't think the storyline of the kid was as good as the original. The first one being a origin story, so I've gone with Deadpool number 1 as my 4th option. What have you got in number 4?
Number 4 for me is Safe House. I think the dynamic with him and Denzel Washington makes the film. It's probably the not best action, but I really enjoyed how Denzel Washington is the serious CIA agent and is trying... You think he's the bad guy, but he's actually the one that's the hero, and then Ryan Reynolds doesn't really know if he can trust Denzel Washington, and then, they're fleeing the authorities and, trying to get away, and I really enjoyed the dynamic between the two, and I think it's a highly capable movie, but not as good as the others.
Again, a movie I haven't seen of Ryan Reynolds. We've seen very different versions of Ryan Reynolds movies, so our list is a bit different, isn't it?
It's great.
Yeah, so at number 3, I've gone with Free Guy. So Free Guy I saw 3 times last year.
We've
reviewed. So for a movie that I knew nothing about before going and seeing it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as I said, I've saw it twice in the movies, and I've watched it once since at home. It's I just think it's a really unique, cool story. I know lots of people disagree and think that it's similar to movies that are already out there.
Ready Player One.
I just really like the way they bring AI to life and the whole concept behind it. I just think it's super clever. It's hard to explain to people, but I just think it's a unique film, and I also love the fact that it has Taika Waititi in it. There's just a lot of great things about this film, and I think it's a really good performance for Ryan Reynolds. Sorry, so that's my number 3 choice.
My number 3 is the first Hitman's Bodyguard. I just think this nails the humor of him being a bodyguard for people, and he's like the best one at it, and then he falls flat on one of his missions, and then him trying to protect the hitman, him and Samuel L. Jackson nail the humor. I just think the first one is a great movie, and for what happened with the second one isn't as good as the first one, but I just think the first one is really impressive, and unfortunately they made the second one because of how well the first one was, and it kind of brings the first one down, unfortunately, but I highly recommend watching the first one, and I think Ryan Reynolds is great in the film and really enjoyed the first one.
Yet again, another film I haven't seen. So for my second choice, I chose The Change Up, which is a movie similar to a Freaky Friday kind of concept where people swap bodies. It features Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman. I think this is the funniest movie that Ryan Reynolds is in. I love his character in this. I just think this is the funniest he's been in anything. It's not a unique concept, this idea of swapping bodies, but they still somehow find a way to make it different than other movies that have done something similar. It has lots of quotable lines and scenes in it. I've watched it so many times. It's a film that my friends and I enjoy watching together, and we also re-quote back funny scenes from this movie. So it's definitely one of the most memorable Ryan Reynolds films to me. So The Change Up at number 2.
My number 2 is Free Guy. I just think it shows that he loves games himself, and I know you could argue that this movie doesn't do anything original, but I just love how it niches very well, and I enjoyed watching it and renewing it, and if it wasn't for Ryan Reynolds in this role, the movie I don't think would do as well, and Taika Waititi as the villain made it as special, and I think those two dynamically worked well, and the director as well is also directing Deadpool 3 and also directed the Addams Project, so clearly him and Ryan Reynolds have a bond, and I think their first movie together, Free Guy, is so far the best movie. I think the Addams Project is good as a story, but as a science fiction story, it doesn't do as well. So what's your number 1, Luke, to rule them all?
So number 1, I went with Definitely Maybe, which is a older Ryan Reynolds love story drama, I guess. I really like the concept of this movie. Have you seen it?
I think so.
So in this movie, basically Ryan Reynolds, he has his daughter, and he's hanging out with his daughter, and she goes, I want to, she's had a sex ed class at school, and she goes, how did you meet Mum? I want to know how you met Mum. So he then tells a story about how 3 different lovers he had in his life, and the time that he spent with them, and how the relationship either ended or succeeded. But through it, he doesn't say the name of he says the name of the character, but he doesn't signify whether it is the daughter's mum or not. So you watch it till eventually at the end, he's walking in the park, and then you see one of them come, and that's the mother. So you watch the story, and you're not sure who he ends up with, because all 3 of these characters could be the person he finally falls in love with and it finishes off with and has a daughter with. So it's a cool concept, a nice love story, and has a cool kind of twist, because you don't know who it's going to be into the end. So it's a movie that I really enjoyed, and it's just a very unique concept.
So you chose the love story as your number 1?
Yeah, I think it's the one movie where he's serious, and it isn't about comedy for once, and I just think that was his best acting performance.
Well, my number 1 is Deadpool. I'm a superhero fan, and I just think I couldn't imagine anyone else as Deadpool, and I just really had fun with the first Deadpool movie, and I just think he embraces the role. And unfortunately, I don't think Deadpool 2 was as good, but I think the first one, it got the humour right. Everything was right, except for the villain, unfortunately. But I just think, when I think of Ryan Reynolds, I just think of Deadpool, and you can tell he loves playing the character because he's in a third movie. And if he didn't like playing Deadpool, he wouldn't be continuing playing Deadpool. Yeah.
Do you have any honourable mention, things that didn't quite make the list?
Definitely the change up, and definitely maybe. I forgot about definitely maybe, but I do remember watching it and remembering this is a cool concept for a movie.
I think for me, I really enjoyed Van Wilder, which didn't make the list because it's pretty silly, but that is a funny Ryan Reynolds film. Him voicing Pikachu in Detective Pikachu was pretty good. Just Friends is a pretty good Ryan Reynolds film. He's an interesting actor. He has a lot of really good movies, and then he has heaps of these, like kind of like funny ones. Like for instance, The Adam Project. I've not finished it, but there's a reason I haven't finished it because I'm not overly enjoying it. Six Underground was a cool concept, a movie that's probably gone a bit missing, and people may not get around to seeing it because it was only on Netflix. And I haven't seen Red Notice, but I've heard good things from it. You've seen Red Notice?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You think that was a good movie by Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of, because he has these Netflix movies, there's some that, some people won't get to see. So it's he's an interesting actor for that.
So do you feel like he's been typecast, or people have this persona that he's kind of been playing himself in the role, or?
I think comedy's his go. I do think he tends to play roles where he's kind of himself, or do we just assume that's himself? But I think the way he portrays Deadpool, his character in The Change Up, I think that's kind of him. Yeah, that's how he would be like in real life. But he obviously is a very talented actor and can play serious roles. And the serious roles he's done, he's had a lot of success in. But I think comedy's his go, but as he's like 44 now, as he ages a bit, I think he may not be as many comedies. He might start to do more serious roles. So yeah, somewhat typecast. Some could say he does kind of play the same character every time, but he does it well.
Yeah. Well, very different list, what I think makes it good. If you enjoyed this video, hit the notification bell, like the video, see you in the next video, like and subscribe. Bye-bye.